deportations for criminals. As we've told you repeatedly, in Congress now, Democrats are pushing a revolutionary, that's not an overstatement, piece of legislation called the New Way Forward Act. The act would block deportations for criminals, some serious criminals, and then allow judges to intervene to protect them even more. Even more demented, it would spend your money, taxpayer dollars, to fly deported criminals back into the United States where they could live off your tax dollars. It's lunatic. But it exists because the entire Democratic Party is lunatic on the subject of immigration. And that was on display last night when so-called moderate Pete Buttigieg joined so-called moderate Joe Biden in calling illegal aliens every bit as American as you are, if not more.
Now, in South Bend, it was not always easy to stand up in a conservative place like Indiana on immigration, but we delivered. We created a municipal ID program so that dreamers and others who were undocumented were able to navigate everyday life. We stood up for those rights and stood with members of our community with the message that they were as American as we are. A los soñadores hay que decir que este país es tu país también.
So Joe Biden, for example, has moved from being what would be considered now very right-wing on immigration to being effectively for open borders. But it's still not far enough. He was still harassed by activists for the supposed sins of right-wing Barack Obama. Watch.
I'm running because so many people... Let's continue.
Angry children screaming in public. You probably paid colleges to educate them. Glad you did. Chris Kobach is a former Kansas Secretary of State. He's running for Senate in that state. We're happy to have him tonight. Chris, thanks so much for coming on. So I can't get past this talking point, which I've heard again and again recently, which is illegal aliens, undocumented immigrants, are more American than you are, Mr. and Mrs. American. What do you make of that?
It is really disturbing, Tucker, and it also echoes the New Way Forward bill, which you have laid out very clearly for viewers to see, because the New Way Forward bill says that aliens have a, quote, right to come home. Criminal aliens have a right to come home. And so if they're as American as we are and they have a right to come home, this is a disturbing view of what they think it is to be an American. They think that America is just a place on a map, and if you stand on American soil ever so briefly, suddenly you're an American. But of course, that's contrary to centuries of American history. They reject assimilation. They reject an American creed that all immigrants come to adopt. And they want to break that down because the parts of the American creed, things like capitalism and the rule of law, are things that the Democrats no longer accept. So I found it really, really shocking how they have adopted this mantra that illegal aliens are as American as we are.
Well, it sends a pretty clear message. If I said to my children, you know, the kid down the street, the one who's always breaking into houses and never goes to school and gives us the finger when we drive to church, he's every bit as much my child as you are. In fact, maybe even a little more. The message to the kids would be really clear. I hate you, wouldn't it be? Yeah, exactly. And the message sent by the New Way Forward bill, you mentioned many of the problems in it. On top of what you mentioned, Tucker, there's another problem. It would turn every city in America into a sanctuary city. Local police would be forbidden from helping ICE in any way. And so just imagine thousands of Americans would lose their lives, would be injured. And if you're one of those victims of someone who's been brought back into the United States, you've been injured by the illegal alien and you've been betrayed by your country. In the name of what? It's insane. Yeah. In the name of what? Can they get elected on this? Is there popular support for these ideas?
Thank goodness, no. I don't think so. Certainly not among Republicans, and the vast majority of independents don't embrace this idea. And I think even a lot of Democrats, too, are rejecting how the leadership of their party has gone so far to the left, so much toward embracing illegality in this country, and as you pointed out, embracing illegal alien criminals so much that they want to fly them back to the United States after they've been deported. I can't see how that makes sense to most voters, and including Democrats.
It's scary as hell. Chris Kobach, thanks so much for coming on tonight. Good to see you. Thank you.